This is not a gentle landscape. Katmai National Park spans over 4 million acres of Alaskan wilderness, where confrontation is not merely common, but essential for survival. Here, the food chain operates with ruthless efficiency, and every animal must master the delicate balance between predator and prey, between aggression and retreat. The confrontations extend beyond predator relationships. Even herbivores engage in spectacular battles for dominance. Katmai's weather patterns create additional challenges that test every species' adaptability. Winter temperatures can plummet to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, while summer brings swarms of insects that can drive even the largest animals to distraction. The park's volcanic activity adds another layer of unpredictability, with occasional eruptions reshaping the landscape and forcing wildlife to adapt to new conditions. The seasonal changes here are not gradual transitions but dramatic transformations that demand immediate adaptation. Spring arrives with explosive force, melting massive snowpacks and creating torrential flows that can change river courses overnight. Summer brings abundance, but also fierce competition for resources. Fall demands urgent preparation for survival, while winter tests every survival skill an animal has learned. Katmai National Park encompasses a diverse set of ecosystems, each supporting unique communities of wildlife. The park's coastline stretches for hundreds of miles along the Pacific Ocean, where rocky shores meet pristine beaches and tidal pools teem with marine life. Inland, vast forests of spruce, birch, and alder create dense canopies that shelter countless species, while expansive tundra plains stretch toward distant mountains. The park's numerous lakes and rivers form a complex watershed system that serves as highways for migrating salmon and gathering places for the wildlife that depends on these fish runs. Brooks Falls, perhaps the park's most famous feature, creates a natural amphitheater where bears congregate each summer to feast on leaping salmon. The volcanic valley of 10,000 Smokes stands as a testament to the geological forces that continue to shape this landscape. Elevation changes throughout the park create distinct climate zones, from coastal temperate rainforests to alpine tundra. Each zone supports different species adapted to specific conditions. The lower elevations experience milder temperatures and longer growing seasons, while higher altitudes challenge wildlife with harsh conditions and shortened summers. This remarkable diversity of habitats supports an equally remarkable diversity of wildlife. From the smallest Arctic ground squirrels to the massive brown bears, from soaring bald eagles to prowling wolverines, each species has found its niche in this complex ecosystem. Their stories of survival, adaptation, and seasonal rhythms paint a picture of nature's incredible resilience and ingenuity. Welcome to Katmai National Park, Alaska's crown jewel, where nature's most compelling drama unfolds every single day. The massive brown bear emerges from the morning shadows along the riverbank, water dripping from his thick fur as he surveys his domain. Standing nearly 9 feet tall and weighing close to 900 pounds, this coastal giant represents the apex of Katmai's food chain. His powerful shoulders ripple beneath his cinnamon-colored coat as he moves with surprising grace for such a massive creature. Spring finds our bear emerging from his winter den, having lost nearly a third of his body weight during the long months of hibernation. His first priority is to replenish his energy reserves, and he begins by grazing on the new shoots of grass and sedges that carpet the meadows. His massive claws, each nearly 4 inches long, delicately strip vegetation as he feeds. The sight of such a powerful predator peacefully grazing creates a striking contrast that speaks to the adaptability that has made brown bears so successful. As summer arrives, dramatic changes sweep across the landscape. The bear's attention turns to the rivers where millions of salmon begin their spawning runs. At Brooks Falls, he stakes out his territory among the prime fishing spots, his mere presence causing smaller bears to retreat to less favorable positions. With lightning reflexes that seem impossible for such a large animal, he snatches salmon from the cascading water, his powerful jaws crushing the fish with ease. The abundance of summer allows the bear to gain over 400 pounds, building the fat reserves that will sustain him through winter's harsh months. His feeding becomes almost mechanical in its efficiency, consuming up to 30 salmon per day during peak runs. The riverbanks become littered with partially eaten fish, providing sustenance for scavengers and enriching the soil with marine nutrients. Fall brings a sense of urgency as the bear enters hyperphagia, a state of almost constant feeding. He supplements his salmon diet with berries, roots, and any available protein. His massive frame expands as he prepares for the long winter ahead. By November, he will have doubled his spring weight, a remarkable transformation that ensures his survival through the months of denning. Winter's arrival signals the beginning of the bear's most vulnerable period. As temperatures drop and snow begins to accumulate, he retreats to his den, typically a cave or hollow he has excavated in a hillside. Here, in a state of torpor that is not quite true hibernation, he will remain for up to 7 months, his body temperature dropping only slightly, while his heart rate slows dramatically. The coastal brown bear's presence shapes the entire ecosystem of Katmai. His fishing activities at salmon runs create opportunities for scavengers and distribute marine nutrients throughout the forest. His trails become highways for smaller animals, while his scat fertilizes the landscape and spreads seeds across vast distances. As the undisputed master of this realm, his success or failure ripples through every level of the food web. As the great brown bear settles into his fishing routine, the morning stillness is broken by a sound that has stirred human emotions for millennia. From the distant ridgeline comes the haunting howl of a gray wolf, soon joined by the voices of his packmates. This is the voice of the wilderness itself, a sound that speaks of freedom, danger, and the primal forces that have shaped this land for thousands of years. The alpha male steps into a clearing, his silver-gray coat catching the early morning light. At 110 pounds and standing 32 inches at the shoulder, he is a magnificent specimen of one of nature's most successful predators. His yellow eyes scan the landscape with an intelligence that has allowed his species to thrive in some of the world's most challenging environments. Behind him, 6 pack members emerge from the forest, their movements synchronized through years of cooperation and shared survival. Spring brings new challenges to the wolf pack as the alpha female prepares to give birth to this year's pups. The pack's territory, spanning over 600 square miles, must provide enough resources to support the growing family. The wolves' hunting strategies adapt to the seasonal availability of prey. During the early spring, when caribou are scattered and moose are thin from winter's hardships, the pack focuses on smaller prey and scavenging opportunities. The birth of 5 pups in late May transforms the pack's dynamics. The alpha female remains at the den site, a carefully chosen location that provides protection and easy access to water. The other pack members now hunt not just for themselves, but for the nursing mother and her helpless offspring. Their success rate must improve dramatically, as the growing pups will require increasingly large amounts of food. Summer presents the pack with abundant opportunities as caribou herds migrate through their territory. The wolves demonstrate their remarkable hunting intelligence, using complex strategies to separate weak or young animals from the protective herd. Their endurance is legendary, capable of running at 25 miles per hour for extended periods and reaching speeds of up to 45 miles per hour in short bursts. The pack's social structure becomes particularly evident during hunts. Each wolf has a specific role, from the scouts who locate prey to the flankers who prevent escape routes. The alpha pair leads the attack, while subordinate wolves drive the prey toward the ambush. This level of cooperation requires sophisticated communication through body language, vocalizations, and scent marking. Fall brings a sense of urgency as the pack prepares for winter's challenges. The young pups, now nearly full-grown, must learn their place in the pack hierarchy and master the hunting skills that will determine their survival. The pack's territory is marked and remarked with scent posts, warning other wolves that this area is claimed and defended. Winter transforms the pack into a highly efficient survival machine. Their thick double coat provides insulation against temperatures that can drop to -50 degrees Fahrenheit. Their large, snowshoe-like paws allow them to travel across deep snow with minimal effort. Most importantly, their pack structure ensures that no individual wolf faces the harsh winter alone. The gray wolf's role in Katmai's ecosystem extends far beyond their direct predation. Their presence influences the behavior of prey species, creating what scientists call a landscape of fear that affects grazing patterns and habitat use. This indirect influence helps maintain the balance between herbivores and vegetation, demonstrating the critical role of apex predators in ecosystem health. While the wolf pack settles into their winter routine, the thunder of thousands of hooves echoes across the tundra as one of nature's most spectacular migrations begins. The western Arctic caribou herd, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, moves across the landscape like a living river, following ancient routes that have been used for millennia. Among them, a mature bull lifts his massive antlers toward the sky, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air as he leads a small group of cows and calves across the frozen ground. This bull, weighing nearly 400 pounds and standing 4 feet at the shoulder, represents the culmination of years of survival in one of the world's most challenging environments. His antlers, spanning nearly 5 feet across, are both a symbol of his dominance and a practical tool for competing with other bulls and clearing snow to reach the vegetation beneath. His thick, hollow guard hairs provide insulation that allows him to remain comfortable in temperatures that would kill most animals within hours. The caribou's annual cycle is dominated by migration, a journey that can cover over 3,000 miles and represents one of the longest migrations of any land animal. Spring migration begins as the snow starts to melt, triggered by a combination of daylight length, temperature changes, and an ancient genetic programming that has guided their ancestors for thousands of years. The herd moves with purpose, following traditional routes that take advantage of the best feeding areas and avoid major obstacles. Calving season arrives with the brief but intense Arctic summer. The cows seek out traditional calving grounds, often islands or elevated areas that provide protection from predators and access to high-quality forage. The synchronization of births is remarkable, with most calves being born within a 2-week period. This strategy overwhelms predators and ensures that the maximum number of young survive their most vulnerable period. The newborn calves are among the most precocious of all mammals, able to stand and walk within hours of birth and keeping pace with the herd within days. Their reddish-brown coat provides camouflage against the tundra vegetation, while their rapid growth ensures they can survive the challenges ahead. The bond between mother and calf is intense, with cows fiercely protecting their young from the wolves, bears, and other predators that constantly threaten the herd. Summer brings both abundance and torment to the caribou. The brief growing season produces an explosion of vegetation that allows the animals to rapidly gain weight and condition. However, the same conditions that promote plant growth also produce massive swarms of insects that can drive caribou to near madness. Mosquitoes, black flies, and botflies attack in numbers that can reach 9,000 bites per minute, forcing the caribou to seek relief on snow patches, windy ridges, and muddy wallows. The bull's antlers reach their full size during the summer months, growing at a rate of up to an inch per day. This growth requires enormous amounts of energy and minerals, demonstrating the importance of the rich summer feeding grounds. The antlers are covered in velvet, a blood-rich skin that provides nutrients to the growing bone. As testosterone levels rise in preparation for the rut, the velvet begins to dry and peel, revealing the polished bone beneath. Fall brings the spectacular rutting season, when bulls compete for the right to mate with cows. The bull's neck swells with muscle, and his usually calm demeanor transforms into aggressive territoriality. Bulls engage in dramatic battles, their antlers clashing with sounds that can be heard for miles. The strongest bulls gather harems of cows, defending them against challengers while barely taking time to eat. Winter survival depends on the caribou's remarkable adaptations to extreme cold. Their metabolic rate slows, reducing energy requirements, while their thick coat provides insulation equivalent to the best human winter clothing. Most importantly, their ability to find food beneath the snow using their keen sense of smell and specialized hooves allows them to survive where other animals would starve. The caribou's migration patterns have profound effects on the ecosystems they traverse. Their grazing pressure shapes plant communities, while their waste products provide crucial nutrients to nutrient-poor Arctic soils. Their trails become highways for other animals, and their presence supports entire communities of predators and scavengers. As the caribou herds continue their ancient migration across the open tundra, deep within Katmai's dense boreal forests, a different kind of giant makes his presence known. The bull moose crashes through the underbrush with surprising stealth for an animal weighing nearly 1,200 pounds and standing 6 feet at the shoulder. His massive antlers, spanning over 5 feet across and weighing 40 pounds, navigate through the forest canopy with practiced ease, testimony to a lifetime spent in these dense woodlands. Unlike the highly social caribou, the moose is a creature of solitude, preferring the quiet sanctuary of the forest to the open spaces favored by many other large mammals. His dark brown coat, almost black in the shadows of the spruce and birch trees, provides perfect camouflage in the dappled light of the forest floor. His long, powerful legs are perfectly adapted for navigating through deep snow, fallen logs, and marshy areas that would stop other animals. Spring finds the bull moose in a state of recovery from the harsh winter months. His massive body requires enormous amounts of food to maintain, and he spends up to 20 hours per day feeding on the new growth of willows, aspens, and aquatic plants. His feeding habits have a profound impact on the forest structure, as his browsing pressure shapes the growth patterns of shrubs and small trees. He moves through his territory with purpose, following well-established trails that connect the best feeding areas. The moose's relationship with water is one of his most distinctive characteristics. Unlike most large mammals, he is an excellent swimmer, capable of diving up to 20 feet deep to reach succulent aquatic plants. His nostrils can close to prevent water from entering while he feeds underwater, and his long legs allow him to wade into water that would be too deep for other animals. These aquatic feeding sessions also provide relief from the swarms of insects that plague all large mammals during the brief but intense summer months. Summer brings both abundance and challenge to the moose. The rich growth of his preferred plants allows him to gain weight rapidly, but the same conditions that promote plant growth also create ideal conditions for parasites and biting insects. The moose's response to insect harassment is both dramatic and effective. He may roll in mud to create a protective coating, seek out windy areas where insects are less active, or simply endure the torment while continuing to feed. The bull's antlers begin their annual growth cycle in spring, emerging as soft, blood-filled structures covered in velvet. The growth rate is phenomenal, with antlers adding up to an inch per day during peak growth periods. This rapid growth requires massive amounts of calcium and phosphorus, minerals that must be obtained from his plant-based diet. The velvet that covers the growing antlers is extremely sensitive, causing the bull to be cautious about where he places his head. Fall transforms the normally solitary bull into an aggressive and territorial creature, driven by the demands of the rutting season. His antlers, now hardened and polished by the removal of the velvet, become weapons capable of delivering devastating blows to rivals. The bull's neck swells with muscle, and his usually calm demeanor disappears as testosterone courses through his system. His rutting calls, deep grunts and bellows that can be heard for miles, advertise his presence to both rivals and potential mates. The confrontations between bull moose during the rutting season are among the most spectacular wildlife displays in North America. Two bulls approach each other with a ritualized display of dominance, their antlers held high and their hair standing on end. If neither backs down, they engage in a pushing match that can last for hours, their antlers locked together as they test each other's strength. These battles occasionally result in serious injury or death, but more often they establish dominance hierarchies that minimize actual conflict. Winter presents the moose with his greatest survival challenge. His large size, while advantageous in many ways, becomes a liability when food becomes scarce and energy conservation is critical. The bull's metabolism slows, and he enters a state of semi-dormancy, reducing his activity levels and relying on fat reserves accumulated during the summer months. His long legs allow him to navigate through snow depths that would trap smaller animals, but deep snow can still restrict his movement and access to food. The moose's role in the forest ecosystem extends far beyond his direct impact on vegetation. His trails become corridors used by other animals. His browsing creates openings in the forest canopy that benefit other species, and his presence supports predator populations. His massive size makes him largely immune to most predators as an adult, but calves and weakened individuals provide important prey for wolves and bears. While the massive moose moves through his forest domain with measured steps, a much smaller but equally formidable predator traverses the same landscape with relentless determination. The wolverine emerges from a rocky outcrop, his muscular form and distinctive gait immediately recognizable as belonging to one of nature's most tenacious survivors. Weighing only 40 pounds but built like a small bear, this solitary hunter possesses a ferocity and endurance that has earned him a legendary reputation throughout the northern wilderness. The wolverine's dark brown fur is frosted with lighter guard hairs that give him a grizzled appearance, while his broad paws act like natural snowshoes, allowing him to travel across deep snow with remarkable efficiency. His powerful jaws, equipped with teeth designed for crushing bone, can generate a bite force of 50 pounds per square inch, enabling him to access food sources that other scavengers cannot reach. His most distinctive feature, however, is his incredible stamina, capable of traveling 15 miles per day through the most challenging terrain. Spring awakens the wolverine from his winter wanderings as he begins the search for a mate. His territory, covering up to 600 square miles, overlaps with the ranges of several females, and he must travel vast distances to locate receptive partners. His powerful claws, semi-retractable and perfectly adapted for climbing, allow him to scale vertical rock faces and navigate through dense forest with equal ease. His scent-marking behavior becomes more frequent during this period, as he establishes his presence throughout his range. The wolverine's reputation as a scavenger is well-deserved, but it tells only part of his story. While he does feed extensively on carrion, particularly the remains of kills made by larger predators, he is also a skilled hunter capable of taking prey much larger than himself. High above the wolverine's ground-based adventures, a magnificent form cuts through the Alaskan sky with effortless grace. The bald eagle, with wings spanning nearly 8 feet, rides the thermal currents rising from the warming landscape below. Her white head and tail feathers gleam in the sunlight, marking her as a mature adult who has survived at least 5 years in one of nature's most competitive environments. Her piercing yellow eyes survey her domain with the keen intelligence that has made her species America's national symbol. This female eagle, weighing nearly 14 pounds and measuring 3 feet from beak to tail, represents the apex of aerial predation in Katmai's ecosystem. Her massive talons, capable of exerting over 400 pounds of pressure per square inch, are perfectly designed for grasping slippery fish and maintaining her grip during the powerful diving attacks that characterize her hunting style. Her hooked beak, razor-sharp and perfectly proportioned, can tear through flesh and bone with surgical precision. Spring brings the eagle pair to their ancestral nesting site, a massive structure built in the crown of a 200-year-old spruce tree. The nest, accumulated over many years of use, weighs nearly 2 tons and measures 8 feet across. The female's role in nest maintenance is crucial, as she adds new material each year and repairs damage caused by winter storms. Her selection of nesting materials demonstrates remarkable intelligence, as she chooses branches and debris that will provide both structural integrity and insulation for her eggs. The courtship rituals of bald eagles are among the most spectacular displays in the animal kingdom. The mated pair engages in dramatic aerial acrobatics, locking talons and cartwheeling through the sky in a display that demonstrates both their flying skills and their commitment to each other. These displays serve multiple purposes, strengthening the pair bond, advertising their territorial claims, and providing practice for the cooperative hunting that will be necessary to feed their growing family. The female's egg-laying represents a critical period in the eagle's annual cycle. She typically lays 2 eggs, each weighing about 4 ounces and requiring 35 days of constant incubation. The parents take turns sitting on the eggs, with the female doing most of the incubating while the male provides food and protection. The timing of egg-laying is crucial, as the chicks must hatch when food sources are most abundant and weather conditions are most favorable. Summer brings the demanding period of chick rearing, when the parent eagles must provide food for their rapidly growing offspring. The chick's appetite is voracious, requiring up to 2 pounds of food per day each. The parents' hunting efforts intensify dramatically, with salmon runs providing the most reliable food source. The female's fishing technique is a marvel of precision and power, as she swoops down to snatch salmon from the water's surface with her talons, often carrying fish weighing several pounds back to the nest. The eagle's fishing success depends on her ability to read water conditions and predict fish behavior. She positions herself on favorable perches overlooking productive fishing areas, watching for the telltale signs of salmon activity. Her attacks are timed to coincide with the fish's movement patterns, and her success rate of nearly 80% demonstrates the refinement of her hunting skills. The surplus fish from successful hunts are cached near the nest, providing security against periods when fishing conditions are poor. Fall brings significant changes to the eagle's behavior as the young birds prepare for independence. The parents' food provisioning decreases gradually, forcing the juveniles to develop their own hunting skills. The young eagle's first attempts at fishing are often unsuccessful, but persistence and practice eventually lead to competence. This period of learning is critical, as juveniles who fail to master essential skills will not survive their first winter. The eagle's relationship with other predators and scavengers is complex and often competitive. While she is capable of dominating most other birds through her size and aggression, she must sometimes compete with brown bears for access to salmon runs. Her strategy in these encounters is to wait for opportunities when bears are absent or distracted, then quickly snatch fish and retreat to safe perches. Her ability to cache food becomes particularly important during periods when direct competition makes fishing difficult. Winter transforms the eagle's hunting strategy as salmon runs end and ice begins to form on lakes and rivers. Her diet shifts to include waterfowl, small mammals, and carrion, demonstrating the adaptability that has allowed her species to thrive in diverse environments. Her exceptional eyesight, estimated to be 4 times sharper than human vision, allows her to spot potential prey from distances of up to 2 miles. Her hunting success during winter often depends on her ability to exploit the kills of other predators, though she must be cautious to avoid confrontations with bears and wolves. The bald eagle's role in Katmai's ecosystem extends beyond her direct predation. Her presence as a top predator helps maintain balance in fish and bird populations, while her scavenging activities help recycle nutrients throughout the ecosystem. Her nesting activities create platforms that are often used by other species after the eagles abandon them, and her territorial behavior influences the distribution of other raptors in the area. As the mighty eagle soars overhead, scanning the landscape from her aerial vantage point, a much more secretive predator moves through the shadows of the forest floor below. The Canada lynx steps silently through the undergrowth, his oversized paws acting like natural snowshoes as he navigates the dense spruce forest. His tufted ears twitch at the slightest sound, while his pale yellow eyes scan the forest with the intensity of a creature perfectly adapted for stealth hunting. This male lynx, weighing 35 pounds and standing 24 inches at the shoulder, embodies the essence of feline grace and power. His thick grayish-brown fur provides perfect camouflage against the dappled light of the forest floor, while his distinctive facial ruff and ear tufts give him an almost otherworldly appearance. His long legs and large paws are perfectly adapted for travel through deep snow, allowing him to pursue prey in conditions that would stop other predators. Spring awakens the lynx from his winter hunting routines as the mating season approaches. His normally solitary nature gives way to a brief period of social interaction as he searches for receptive females throughout his territory. His territorial markings become more frequent and pronounced, as he scent marks trees, rocks, and other prominent features to advertise his presence to potential mates. His vocalizations, typically limited to occasional yowls and growls, increase dramatically during this period. The lynx's hunting strategy is based on patience, stealth, and explosive speed. He moves through his territory with careful deliberation, using his exceptional hearing to locate prey long before it becomes aware of his presence. His preferred hunting method involves finding a suitable ambush site along game trails or near feeding areas, then waiting motionless for hours until prey comes within striking distance. His attack, when it comes, is a lightning-fast pounce that covers up to 25 feet in a single bound. The lynx's diet consists primarily of snowshoe hares, which make up over 80% of his food intake. This specialization creates a unique predator-prey relationship that has fascinated wildlife biologists for decades. The lynx population closely follows the cyclical fluctuations of snowshoe hare numbers, with lynx populations peaking about 2 years after hare populations reach their maximum. This relationship demonstrates the delicate balance that exists between predator and prey in northern ecosystems. Summer brings both opportunity and challenge to the lynx as his primary prey species reaches peak abundance. The dense forest provides excellent cover for his hunting activities, but the same vegetation that conceals him also provides hiding places for his prey. His hunting success rate increases dramatically during this period, allowing him to build up fat reserves that will be crucial for winter survival. His exceptional night vision gives him a significant advantage during the long summer days when many prey species are most active. The lynx's interactions with other predators are generally characterized by avoidance rather than confrontation. While he is capable of defending himself against smaller predators, he typically retreats when confronted by wolves, bears, or wolverines. His arboreal abilities provide escape routes when ground-based encounters become dangerous, and his climbing skills are among the best of any North American predator. His ability to leap from branch to branch allows him to travel through the forest canopy when ground travel becomes too risky. Fall intensifies the lynx's hunting activities as he prepares for the challenging winter months ahead. His prey species begin their own winter preparations, often becoming more cautious and difficult to approach. His hunting strategy adapts to these changing conditions, with longer periods of patient waiting and more careful selection of ambush sites. His thick winter coat begins to develop during this period, providing the insulation necessary for survival in extreme cold. Winter represents the lynx's greatest test as snow depths increase and prey becomes more difficult to locate. His large paws, which spread to nearly 4 inches in diameter, distribute his weight across the snow surface and allow him to travel where other predators would become trapped. His hunting success depends heavily on his ability to locate and follow the runways that snowshoe hares create beneath the snow. These tunnels provide protected travel routes for his prey, but they also create predictable locations where ambush attempts are most likely to succeed. The lynx's reproductive cycle is closely tied to the abundance of his prey species. During years when snowshoe hares are plentiful, females may produce litters of up to 6 kittens, while during lean years, reproduction may be delayed or skipped entirely. This reproductive flexibility allows lynx populations to respond to changing prey availability and helps maintain the long-term stability of the predator-prey relationship. The lynx's role in the forest ecosystem extends beyond his direct predation on snowshoe hares. His presence influences the behavior and distribution of his prey species, which in turn affects vegetation patterns and plant community structure. His scent markings and territorial behavior help regulate the distribution of other predators, while his selective hunting pressure helps maintain the genetic health of prey populations by removing weak or sick individuals. The Arctic fox emerges from his den site, his pure white winter coat making him nearly invisible against the snow-covered landscape. His compact build, weighing only 12 pounds and standing just 11 inches at the shoulder, belies the incredible toughness that allows him to survive in one of the world's most extreme environments. This male fox possesses adaptations that border on the miraculous. His thick fur, which changes from brown in summer to white in winter, provides insulation so effective that he can remain comfortable in temperatures as low as -58 degrees Fahrenheit. His small, rounded ears minimize heat loss, while his furry paws act like natural mittens, protecting his feet from frostbite and providing traction on icy surfaces. His bushy tail serves multiple purposes, acting as a blanket when he curls up to sleep and as a balancing aid when navigating difficult terrain. Spring awakens the fox from his winter survival mode as the snow begins to melt and new food sources become available. His diet during this period becomes incredibly diverse, including everything from bird eggs and small mammals to insects and berries. His hunting strategy combines patience with opportunism as he investigates every potential food source with the thoroughness of an animal that cannot afford to waste energy on unsuccessful hunts. The fox's relationship with larger predators is complex and often dangerous. While he is capable of scavenging from the kills of bears and wolves, he must do so with extreme caution. His small size makes him vulnerable to attacks from these larger predators, but his agility and intelligence often allow him to access food sources that others cannot reach. His ability to cache food becomes particularly important during periods when scavenging opportunities are limited. Summer brings both opportunity and challenge to the Arctic fox, as his white coat becomes a liability in the brown and green landscape. His summer coat of brownish gray provides better camouflage, but the molting process leaves him vulnerable during the transition period. His hunting success depends heavily on his ability to locate and capture small mammals, particularly lemmings and voles, which form the foundation of his diet during the warmer months. The fox's reproductive strategy is closely tied to the abundance of small mammals in his territory. During years when prey is abundant, pairs may produce litters of up to 14 pups, while during lean years, reproduction may be delayed or skipped entirely. The den sites, typically located in well-drained areas with good visibility, become centers of intense activity as both parents work to feed their growing family. Fall represents a critical period for the Arctic fox, as he prepares for the harsh winter ahead. His caching behavior becomes frantic as he stores food in dozens of locations throughout his territory. His exceptional memory allows him to relocate these caches, even when they are buried beneath several feet of snow. His ability to survive winter depends heavily on the success of these caching efforts, as fresh prey becomes increasingly scarce as temperatures drop. The fox's winter survival depends on his ability to exploit every available food source. His diet during this period may include carrion, cached food, and any small mammals he can locate beneath the snow. His hunting technique involves using his exceptional hearing to locate prey moving beneath the snow, then performing spectacular dives to break through the surface and capture his quarry. This behavior, known as mousing, requires incredible precision and timing. Winter also brings the Arctic fox's most challenging social interactions. While normally territorial, foxes may share feeding areas and even den sites during the harshest weather. These temporary aggregations provide mutual benefits, including shared vigilance against predators and cooperative hunting opportunities. However, competition for limited resources can also lead to aggressive encounters between individuals. The Arctic fox's role in the ecosystem extends beyond his direct predation and scavenging activities. His presence as a competitor affects the behavior and distribution of other small predators, while his scavenging activities help recycle nutrients throughout the ecosystem. His den sites, used over multiple generations, become focal points for nutrient concentration and plant growth. High above the Arctic fox's ground-level adventures, a shadow passes over the landscape that dwarfs even the impressive bald eagle. The stellar sea eagle, with wings spanning nearly 9 feet and weighing up to 20 pounds, represents one of the largest raptors in the world. This magnificent female cuts through the air with powerful wing beats, her massive yellow beak and distinctive white shoulder patches marking her as one of the most formidable predators in the northern Pacific region. This colossal bird of prey has traveled thousands of miles from her breeding grounds in coastal Russia to spend the winter in the rich waters around Katmai. Her presence here represents one of the most remarkable migrations in the raptor world, a journey that tests every aspect of her survival skills. Her massive size, while impressive, also presents unique challenges, as she requires enormous amounts of food to maintain her body condition and has fewer escape options when confronted by threats. The sea eagle's hunting strategy is based on power and patience rather than speed and agility. She positions herself on prominent perches overlooking productive fishing areas, using her exceptional eyesight to scan the water for signs of fish activity. Her preferred prey consists of large fish, particularly salmon, which can weigh up to 15 pounds and require significant strength to lift from the water. Her attacks are characterized by overwhelming force rather than finesse, as she uses her massive talons and powerful wings to subdue prey. Spring migration brings the sea eagle into competition with resident bald eagles for the best fishing territories. These encounters between the two species are among the most spectacular wildlife interactions in Alaska, as the larger but less agile stellar sea eagle faces off against the smaller but more maneuverable bald eagle. The outcomes of these confrontations depend on factors including fishing site quality, individual experience, and the determination of each bird to defend its resources. The sea eagle's fishing technique demonstrates the adaptations that have allowed her species to thrive in the challenging northern Pacific environment. Her massive beak, measuring up to 4 inches in length, is perfectly designed for gripping large, slippery fish. Her talons, each nearly 3 inches long, provide the gripping power necessary to lift heavy prey from the water. Her technique involves swooping down to snatch fish from the surface, though she occasionally wades into shallow water to capture prey directly. Summer brings abundant fishing opportunities as salmon runs reach their peak. The sea eagle's daily food requirements, estimated at nearly 3 pounds of fish per day, mean that she must fish almost continuously during peak activity periods. Her success depends on her ability to locate and monopolize the most productive fishing areas, often displacing smaller raptors through her sheer size and aggressive behavior. Her presence at salmon runs creates a hierarchy of feeding opportunities, with her claims taking precedence over those of other predators. The sea eagle's relationship with brown bears represents one of the most interesting interspecies interactions in Katmai. While the bears are clearly dominant at fishing sites, the eagle's ability to quickly grab fish and retreat to inaccessible perches allows her to exploit opportunities that ground-based predators cannot. Her strategy involves waiting for moments when bears are distracted or absent, then quickly securing fish and retreating to safe locations. Fall intensifies the sea eagle's feeding activities as she prepares for the energy demands of her long migration back to breeding grounds. Her caching behavior becomes more pronounced as she stores fish in locations that provide protection from scavengers and weather. Her exceptional memory allows her to relocate these caches even after extended periods, providing security against days when fishing conditions are poor. The sea eagle's winter survival in Katmai depends on her ability to exploit ice-free areas where fish remain accessible. Her cold weather adaptations include increased feather density and changes in behavior that minimize energy expenditure. Her large size provides some protection against heat loss, but also increases her energy requirements, creating a delicate balance between conservation and activity. Winter also brings the sea eagle's most challenging weather conditions. Storms can ground her for days at a time, forcing her to rely on cached food and scavenging opportunities. Her ability to survive these periods depends on the fat reserves she has accumulated during more abundant times, and her skill at finding alternative food sources when fish become inaccessible. The stellar sea eagle's role in the ecosystem extends beyond her direct predation on fish. Her presence influences the behavior and distribution of other raptors, while her scavenging activities help recycle nutrients throughout the coastal ecosystem. Her massive size makes her an important scavenger of large carcasses, and her ability to access and consume parts of carcasses that other scavengers cannot reach helps ensure complete utilization of available resources. While the mighty sea eagle dominates the airspace above Katmai's coastline, the rich waters below harbor an equally remarkable predator, perfectly adapted to life in both aquatic and terrestrial environments. The harbor seal surfaces near the rocky shore, her whiskered face and large dark eyes scanning the area for potential threats before she hauls out onto the sun-warmed rocks. Her streamlined body, weighing 180 pounds and measuring 5 feet in length, represents the perfect compromise between aquatic efficiency and terrestrial mobility. This mature female seal embodies the evolutionary success of marine mammals, possessing adaptations that allow her to thrive in the challenging interface between land and sea. Her spotted gray coat provides camouflage both in the water and on rocky shores, while her flippers are perfectly designed for both swimming and limited terrestrial locomotion. Her large eyes, proportionally much larger than those of terrestrial mammals, are adapted for vision in the dim underwater environment where she spends most of her hunting time. Spring brings dramatic changes to the seal's world as ice begins to break up and new feeding opportunities become available. Her diet during this period consists primarily of fish, squid, and crustaceans, with her hunting success depending on her ability to locate and capture prey in the three-dimensional environment of the ocean. Her diving capabilities are remarkable, reaching depths of up to 300 feet and holding her breath for up to 20 minutes while pursuing prey. The seal's hunting strategy combines stealth, speed, and remarkable underwater maneuverability. Her streamlined body allows her to reach speeds of up to 25 miles per hour underwater, while her sensitive whiskers detect the slightest water movements created by fleeing prey. Her attacks are characterized by sudden acceleration and precise positioning, as she uses her powerful jaws to secure prey before returning to the surface to breathe. Summer represents the peak of the seal's annual cycle as pupping season arrives. The female's choice of pupping sites demonstrates remarkable intelligence, as she selects locations that provide protection from predators, access to water, and suitable substrate for her pup's development. Her maternal behavior is intense but brief, as pups must develop independence quickly to survive in the demanding marine environment. The seal's relationship with terrestrial predators is complex and dangerous. While she is relatively safe in the water, her need to haul out for rest and pupping makes her vulnerable to attacks from bears, wolves, and other predators. Her response to terrestrial threats involves maintaining constant vigilance and positioning herself within quick reach of water. Her ability to detect approaching predators and reach the safety of the ocean often determines her survival. Fall brings changes in the seal's behavior as she prepares for the challenging winter months ahead. Her feeding activities intensify as she builds up the blubber reserves that will provide insulation and energy storage during the coldest periods. Her diet shifts to include more high-energy prey species, particularly fatty fish that provide maximum caloric content. Her social behavior may change during this period, as seals occasionally gather in larger groups at particularly productive feeding areas. The seal's winter survival depends on her ability to maintain access to open water for breathing and feeding. Her adaptations to cold water include a thick layer of blubber that provides insulation and buoyancy, as well as circulatory modifications that prevent heat loss to extremities. Her behavioral adaptations include selecting haul-out sites that provide protection from wind and waves while maintaining easy access to water. Winter also brings the seal's most challenging predator interactions. Killer whales, which occasionally visit Katmai's waters, represent a significant threat to adult seals. The seal's response to these encounters involves using shallow water areas where larger predators cannot follow, as well as maintaining heightened awareness of underwater threats. Her survival depends on her ability to detect and avoid these predators, while still meeting her feeding requirements. The harbor seal's role in the marine ecosystem extends beyond her direct predation on fish and invertebrates. Her presence influences the behavior and distribution of prey species, while her waste products provide nutrients for marine plant life. Her haul-out sites become focal points for nutrient concentration, supporting unique plant communities that would not exist without her presence. Along the same rocky shores where the harbor seal rests between hunting forays, a much smaller but equally aquatic predator demonstrates that survival in harsh environments doesn't preclude moments of apparent joy. The river otter slides down a muddy bank with obvious pleasure, her sleek brown form cutting through the water with effortless grace. Her webbed feet and rudder-like tail propel her through the current with remarkable efficiency, while her dense fur keeps her warm and dry even in the frigid waters of Katmai. This female otter, weighing 20 pounds and measuring 4 feet from nose to tail tip, represents one of the most successful semi-aquatic predators in North America. Her playful behavior, often misinterpreted as frivolous, actually serves important survival functions, helping her develop the physical skills and mental flexibility necessary for success in her challenging environment. Her intelligence and adaptability have allowed her species to thrive in habitats ranging from coastal marine environments to inland freshwater systems. Spring awakens the otter from her winter routine as ice begins to break up and new fishing opportunities become available. Her diet during this period consists primarily of fish, though she also consumes crustaceans, amphibians, and occasionally small mammals. Her hunting success depends on her remarkable underwater agility and her ability to use her sensitive whiskers to locate prey in murky water conditions. Her hunting technique involves active pursuit rather than ambush, as she uses her superior swimming ability to run down fleeing prey. The otter's family structure is one of the most complex among North American carnivores. The female's maternal behavior extends well beyond the typical mammalian pattern, as she teaches her young not only basic survival skills, but also the social behaviors that will determine their success in otter society. Her teaching methods include play-based learning, where young otters develop hunting and social skills through activities that appear to be purely recreational. Summer brings both abundance and challenge to the otter family, as the young must learn to fish independently while still relying on their mother for protection and guidance. The female's hunting activities increase dramatically, as she must provide food for her growing family, while simultaneously teaching hunting techniques. Her choice of fishing areas demonstrates remarkable intelligence, as she selects locations that provide both productive fishing and safe learning environments for her young. The otter's relationship with other predators is characterized by her ability to exploit aquatic refugia that most terrestrial predators cannot access. While she is vulnerable to attacks from bears and wolves when traveling overland, her superior swimming ability and knowledge of underwater hiding places provide effective escape routes. Her social behavior includes alarm-calling systems that warn other otters of approaching threats, demonstrating the cooperative nature of otter society. Fall intensifies the otter's fishing activities as she prepares for the challenging winter months ahead. Her caching behavior becomes more pronounced as she stores fish in underwater locations that remain accessible even when surface ice forms. Her exceptional memory allows her to relocate these caches throughout the winter, providing security against periods when active fishing becomes difficult or impossible. The otter's winter survival depends on her ability to maintain access to open water for breathing and fishing. Her adaptations to cold water conditions include modifications to her circulation that prevent heat loss, as well as behavioral adaptations that minimize energy expenditure. Her social behavior changes during winter, as family groups may remain together longer than usual, providing mutual benefits, including shared vigilance and cooperative fishing opportunities. Winter also brings the otter's most challenging environmental conditions. Ice formation can restrict her access to preferred fishing areas, forcing her to travel longer distances to reach open water. Her ability to navigate beneath ice using air pockets trapped along the surface demonstrates the remarkable adaptations that have allowed her species to thrive in northern environments. Her survival depends on her knowledge of local conditions and her ability to predict and respond to changing ice conditions. The river otter's role in the aquatic ecosystem extends beyond her direct predation on fish and other aquatic animals. Her presence influences the behavior and distribution of prey species, while her digging activities while searching for cached food help aerate sediments and distribute nutrients. Her trails between water bodies create corridors that are used by other wildlife, and her latrine sites become focal points for nutrient concentration and plant growth. While the playful otter demonstrates the advantages of aquatic adaptation, the beaver surfaces near her dam, a massive structure of logs, mud, and stones that has transformed a simple stream into a complex aquatic ecosystem. Her broad, flat tail slaps the water's surface in alarm as she detects an unfamiliar sound, the sharp crack echoing across the pond she has created through years of dedicated construction work. This female beaver, weighing 55 pounds and measuring 3 feet in length, represents one of the most transformative species in North America. Her engineering capabilities rival those of humans, as she constructs dams, lodges, and canal systems that can alter entire watersheds. Her massive incisors, bright orange from iron deposits and constantly growing throughout her life, are perfectly adapted for her tree-felling activities. Her powerful jaw muscles can generate enough force to topple trees over 3 feet in diameter. Spring brings intense activity to the beaver colony, as winter damage to dams and lodges must be repaired before the spring flood season. The beaver's construction work is both instinctive and learned, as she applies engineering principles that ensure her structures can withstand the forces of flowing water and seasonal floods. Her material selection demonstrates remarkable intelligence, as she chooses different types of wood and placement strategies based on the specific requirements of each construction project. The beaver's dam building activities create habitat for dozens of other species, from fish and amphibians to waterfowl and moose. Her engineering work increases local water tables, reduces flood damage downstream, and creates wetland habitat that would not exist without her intervention. The ponds behind her dams become oases of biodiversity, supporting complex food webs that include everything from microscopic plankton to large mammals. Summer represents the peak of the beaver's construction activities, as she works to maintain and expand her aquatic empire. Her daily routine includes patrolling her dam system, making repairs where needed, and harvesting the trees and shrubs necessary for ongoing construction projects. Her work is typically done at night, when she is less vulnerable to predators, and when the cooler temperatures make physical labor more comfortable. The beaver's social structure is based on family groups that work together on construction projects and territory defense. Her teaching of construction techniques to young beavers represents one of the most complex examples of cultural transmission in the animal kingdom. Young beavers learn not only how to build dams and lodges, but also how to select appropriate materials, how to predict water flow patterns, and how to coordinate their work with other family members. Fall intensifies the beaver's preparation activities, as she must ensure her constructions can withstand the winter conditions ahead. Her food caching behavior becomes crucial during this period, as she harvests and stores the branches and bark that will sustain her family through the winter months. Her underwater food caches, anchored beneath the ice line, provide security against periods when surface travel becomes impossible. The beaver's winter survival depends on her ability to remain active beneath the ice while maintaining access to her food stores. Her lodge construction provides protection from both predators and extreme weather, while her dam system ensures that water levels remain stable even during the coldest periods. Her ability to remain underwater for up to 15 minutes allows her to access food caches and make necessary repairs to her constructions without exposing herself to surface dangers. Winter also brings the beaver's most challenging maintenance period. Ice formation can damage dam structures, while predators may take advantage of frozen surfaces to access previously secure areas. Her response to these challenges involves constant vigilance and immediate repair of any damage that might compromise her family's security. Her engineering skills are tested most severely during this period, as she must work in harsh conditions with limited materials. The beaver's role in the ecosystem extends far beyond her direct construction activities. Her dams create wetland habitat that supports hundreds of other species, while her tree harvesting activities create forest openings that benefit many plant and animal species. Her engineering work influences water flow patterns across entire watersheds, and her presence can determine the distribution and abundance of many other aquatic species. Katmai National Park in Alaska faces growing human impacts that threaten its ecosystems and wildlife. Increased tourism at Brooks River has altered brown bear behavior. Mothers with cubs often avoid areas with heavy human presence, leading to disrupted feeding patterns and displacement from prime habitats. Some bears have become habituated to people, raising risks of dangerous interactions and eroding their wild nature. Infrastructure such as viewing platforms, staff housing, and float plane landings within critical bear areas intensifies congestion. Marine debris, including plastics and fishing gear, continues to wash ashore, harming marine life despite regular cleanup efforts. The 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill caused long-lasting pollution on Katmai's coastlines, with lingering effects on birds and marine mammals. Tourism contributes millions to local economies and supports jobs, but it also strains resources through waste generation and emissions. Management responses include mandatory bear safety orientations, restricted access to sensitive zones, and restoration projects to repair degraded habitats. Proposals to relocate facilities away from Brooks River have stalled, while plans for a permanent bridge threaten further encroachment. Climate change compounds these pressures by altering salmon runs, shifting vegetation, and increasing wildfires. Balancing visitor access with preservation remains a key challenge. Continued conservation efforts, community engagement, and stricter regulations are essential to safeguard Katmai's unique biodiversity and maintain the park as a refuge for wildlife and a place of awe for future generations. Inspired by the incredible wildlife of Katmai National Park? Like this video and tell us your favorite animal in the comments. Share it to raise awareness and help protect these amazing ecosystems. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss another wild adventure.